All right, Chris, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up by giving our predictions and talking a little bit about the big game this weekend in Piscataway, New Jersey with Rutgers, what we think is going to happen, what we expect to happen, and some records that could be broken. But first, let's dive right into these predictions. Now, as always, you can give your predictions as well. Put your comments, or excuse me, put your prediction, your score prediction in the comments on this video. First person who gets the exact score correct will get free merchandise from the OHIO podcast. So, no one yet this season, Chris. Some people have come close, but someone's going to do it. It's happened before. We would like to see that happen for you. So, again, put your score prediction in the comments section below. If you win, we will contact you and make sure that you get your free OHIO podcast merch. All right, Chris. Here are our predictions for the Ohio State Rutgers game. Aaron, who is on duty right now and unavailable this evening to record with us, says OSU 31, Rutgers 13. Chris, you say OSU 35, Rutgers 10. I'm the closest here. I say OSU 27, Rutgers 13. Chris, how'd you come up with your score, 35 to 10?
Well, like you, I don't think that Ohio State is going to go out there and put up the 50, 53 points that we've seen out of them in the past. Rutgers has a good defense, and as you said, at times our offense has really struggled this season. But I will say this Rutgers' strength is running the ball, no doubt about it. I think defensively, we do a very good job at stopping the run. I mean, if you look at it, Braylon Allen, top rusher in the Big Ten. Now, granted, he got hurt when he was playing us, but we kept him in check and knocked that ball loose from that young man twice. You go back to the Penn State game. Penn State, very good rushing attack. What I think fourth best in the league, or fourth best in the conference, if I'm not mistaken. And we shut him down. We held him to, I believe, 49 yards, 59 yards, something like that.
It was sick.
It was ridiculous. I really feel that given the numbers that Rutgers has shown in the passing game and the fact that their strength is rushing the ball, I think Ohio State can shut them down. I think they do get a touchdown late. I think they probably move the ball a little bit. But I just do not see them putting up any points on this defense, really. I feel that 10 points is a very realistic goal for this
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State team, given this Rutgers offense. But I do think that our offense, our running game, is starting to get a little bit healthy. I see us on the offensive line. We are starting to move the ball or move people a little bit better for the run. We are showing that, especially with Travion back, his versatility. I think that we can extend the run a little bit, more. So for me, I think Ohio State's capable of putting up 35. I think Rutgers will be lucky to put up 10, but I'm going to give them that credit.
We have got to start learning how to play complementary ball.
Yes.
This is the type of game where if we start turning the football over again, Rutgers can get you.
Oh,
This is a
yeah, definitely.
this is a much improved Rutgers team. This is an opportunistic Rutgers defense. This is a Rutgers offense that's going to need their defense to put them in good positions. If Ohio State can take care of the football, take points when they're given to us, i.e., field goals, get out to a lead, I'm not terribly concerned about this football game. A couple factors have me pausing. Number one, second road game in a row. Aaron downplayed that when I talked to him earlier this week, saying that it's not as big of a deal as what we think. I'm going to disagree a little bit, push back a little bit. I think it might be a little bit of a big deal.
Mhm.
Um, no, that's number one. Number two, Rutgers had a bye. So they've had 2 weeks to prepare, where we've had 1 week. So they've got extra preparing time. They've had extra rest, coming off a bye, big game in their home stadium. there's a lot of positive juice flowing there at SHI Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to combat that as well. So taking care of the football, letting your defense do Jim Knowles defensive things, and taking points when they're given to you and building a little bit of a lead throughout the game is going to be important. I will be shocked if we win this thing in a typical Rutgers score of 53-11.
I don't see this offense between the rules changes and what we've seen from this offense this season. I do not see this team putting up 53 points
No.
on Rutgers.
If we put up 40 in the 40s, that's even that's going to be like, all right, that was a
Yeah,
great offensive game. Michigan only scored 35. I think it was
31,
35-7.
31 to
31-7.
7.
31-7. Okay. And they knew all the Rutgers plays. Because
Yeah.
this was the game where
Mm-hmm.
Shiano said at halftime, something's going on here. He
Mm-hmm.
called him out on it at halftime. So they only won 31-7. This is and Rutgers' only other loss came to Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
who we just beat as well. So this is not going to be a walk in the park here, is what I'm getting at.
It's going to be a
So
slobber knocker, Eric.
it might be an old JR slobber knocker, right? So those are some of the things that are running through my head. Now, on the record side of things, Marvin Harrison Jr., if he has a really good game this week, could do something simply marvelous. See what I did there?
Nice. I like that.
Thank you. If he goes for 100 yards or more receiving, this will be his fifth consecutive 100-yard game. Chris, do you know the two other Ohio State wide receivers who've had 5 consecutive 100-yard games in their career?
Well, I'm going to bet one of them was one of our two draft picks from last year. I'm just deciding on which one to go with. I'm going to say it was
Okay.
Garrett Wilson.
No.
Was it Olave?
No.
No.
Jackson Smith and the Jigba.
Oh, yeah.
Last 5 games in
2 years ago.
2021 is he got
That's
5 in a
right.
row.
He got hot, yeah.
Do you know who the other person is?
We're going to go back a ways.
We are. Back to the
I'm,
80s,
I
my
was just
generation.
thinking. I don't think it was Chris Carter.
It
Was
was
it?
Chris Carter. Come on, man. Chris Carter
I
did it.
yeah. I
His
figured it was. I thought about Chris Carter and I thought, did we throw the ball enough for him to have 5 consecutive?
We did, believe it or not. He
Yeah.
was the first one to do it, 1986.
Yeah.
Now, so right now, um, he's had 4 in a row. And the other receivers who've done that are David Boston had 4 in a row
Mhm.
in the end of 1997.
Right.
And then you also had Garrett Wilson had 4 in a row at one time.
Right.
So he's in that group, those 3 guys, and he wants to join the other 2 to be the only
It's
one to
not
have
a
five in
bad
a row.
group to be in the
No,
four club, you know?
here's the other one. He currently has 13 100-yard games or more in his
Mm-hmm.
career. Only one other Buckeyes had 14. Leads the way. Do you know who it is? He's been mentioned already.
I'm going to guess it's David Boston.
You nailed it. David Boston. David Boston had 14
Yeah.
100-yard games, and so he's going to tie him if he gets that. So 2 records, he can set the bar. Garrett Wilson is becoming one of the greatest wide receivers in Ohio State history. If he were to never play another down at
Why
Ohio
would you
State,
put that evil on us right now?
I don't want to. I'm just saying at this moment, barring no matter what happens the rest of this year, where does he rank in your mind in Ohio State wide receivers at this moment?
Well, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to think of one better than him.
All right, let me let me
But I'll
let
tell
me
you this, I would have to say he's definitely top 3 right now.
okay, let me throw some names at you and you say yes or no, he's better than them. Olave.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you where he gets Olave for me. I think that he is just physically a superior receiver. and also he had a better durability than Olave as well.
I love me some Olave. You know that.
Yeah,
But even I have to admit he's better. Garrett Wilson.
I've got to go with Harrison Jr. I really do.
Me too. Michael Thomas.
Ooh,
Now we're talking Ohio State career here.
yeah, yeah.
So
You know, I got to go with Harrison Jr.
his NFL career has really magnified what he did in college, in
Yeah,
my
it
opinion.
did.
Paris Campbell.
I'm going to say Marvin Harrison Jr., but Paris Campbell was pretty good. But I'm
Yeah.
still going to say Marvin Harrison Jr. I think, again,
All right.
just all
Let
around
me get
better.
let me give you four more.
You're going to do it at
Joey
one point.
Joey Galloway.
Ooh, oh. You're gonna run that next group as Joey Galloway, probably Terry Glenn. Uh Boy, that's a tough one for me, Eric. Let me pass on Galloway and come back to him.
You say that one's even Steven maybe right now?
That one's pretty close, yeah.
Terry Glenn.
I'm gonna say Marvin Harrison Jr. because even though Glenn may have had the best single season, just everything Marvin Harrison has been consistent since he took the field.
All right, these next two are tough for me. David Boston.
Right now, statistically, David Boston probably still has him
He's
barely.
catching up with him
However,
quick.
David Boston had more time to do it too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to say Marvin Harrison Jr.
Wow. Okay. Chris Carter.
Hurt my feelings, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
You know this is my boy.
How about the fact that we're pausing? That tells you how good Marvin Harrison Jr. is. Chris Carter's a legend, man.
Chris Carter is
He's a
a
Hall of
bona fide
Famer.
legend.
He's a Hall of Famer.
And I'll tell you, and he did it in an era where we just didn't throw the football the way we do
We
right now.
didn't, and he had his junior year taken from him because of NCAA violations.
And he lost part of his freshman year to injury. So, um, that's a tough one for me. I would say that that's probably a pretty close one. For me, I'm going to have to say, I'm going to keep true to my heart right now. Let me see how the end of the year finishes out. Right now, I'm going to give Chris Carter a slight edge.
So I hear you saying Terry Glenn, David Boston, Chris Carter, Marvin Harrison Jr. are your top four.
No, I actually said Joey Galloway, not Terry Glenn. I'd put
Okay.
Terry Glenn at 5.
Okay. Joey Galloway. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're watching greatness, dude.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a
S-
doubt.
Simply, we are watching greatness, and it's so. That's the
And
story
what's
within this.
scary, Eric, is we have consistently, for the last 3 years, been watching a steady level of greatness come out of that room.
Hmm.
That, Eric, it's getting better every year.
I know. I
We
know.
saw Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and thought, it can't get any better than this. And
That
then
do
we
you
see that Rose Bowl with Jackson Smith and Jigba. We think in
uh
Jigba, and it's like, it can't get any better than this. Oh my God, there's Marvin Harrison, you know?
yeah. So remember what I told you at the beginning of the year? It's coming true. Have you looked at the stats? Cardell Tate's stats are better than Julian Fleming's.
Yeah.
Quietly,
And
and
and you
Julian
know what?
Fleming's had a lot of the injury bug again, but by the end of the year, I think Cardell Tate's going to have him beat by 100 or 200 yards. And, cross our fingers that this doesn't happen. But if for some reason we don't make the CFP, you know, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Mecca Buka are not going to play in the bowl
No,
game.
they won't play.
It'll
It's
be
going to
it'll
be,
be Carnell Tate time, and we will see
and
another
I don't know that.
JSN Marvin Harrison Jr. Rose Bowl type performance from Carnell Tate and Brandon Ennis is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what's scary is we're seeing the flashes already now from Carnell Tate. We've seen a couple of
Hmm.
flashes from Brandon Ennis, so
And
we know the talent's
and
there.
I'm hearing Rogers is absolutely tearing up practice still. Um,
There's
the
just
the the
we got another
talent
3-man
level,
rotation coming through next year.
We do, and I don't know where Julian Fleming is going to fit in that, but we shall see if he
Probably,
stays around.
probably at Alabama.
No way.
Pull himself a Jameson Lee, or yeah, Jameson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he would might go back to Pennsylvania though? Go to Penn State
I
or
don't know that
Pitt?
he would go to Penn
Maybe
State. I could see Pitt.
I wouldn't want to play for Pitt. Narduzzi's a douchebag. Guy
Yeah,
threw his
but you
whole
know what?
team under the bus bad
You
against
go
Notre
to
Dame.
you go to Pitt. You're guaranteed to be the best receiver on that team.
Well, sure.
You go to Penn State.
You're probably the best
You
receiver on that team
you
too.
may be the best, but you know what? They got a couple young guys who have been there a couple years now that are possibly going to see some favoritism there.
Hmm. Good conversation, Chris. I'm looking forward to this game on Saturday. Again, put your prediction in the comments section of this video. If you're listening to the audio version, head on over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com. Look up the At the Ohio podcast. Check us out on our page. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell so you get notified every time we have a new video drop, which is just about daily during the season. Here very soon, after we get through the regular season, we're going to start doing a lot of recruiting videos. We've fallen behind on that. We've had 4 or 5 commits since the last time I've dropped a recruiting video. So we're going to be doing some different things with that, and we're going to be efforting on doing some this off season some really cool things here on the channel that we've talked about, we've discussed, and we want to try to move forward with those things. So a lot of good stuff coming your way, guys. Yes, Chris, do you have
Yeah,
anything?
Eric. Just before we wrap things up, we've been talking about greatness, and I think I'd be a little remiss if I didn't mention as we're recording this. I've just learned, the college basketball, college, the Big Ten, and even Ohio State
Oh
has
yes,
suffered a pretty significant loss
Bobby
as the
Knight
as
passed
the
away. Yep,
general has passed away.
yep.
So thoughts and prayers to the
I
family of
do
the
have
general.
I
You
do
know,
have a question. Do you think they bury him upside down like he requested?
you know what? They just
I
might.
I hope they do. I think that would be like I hope that they really they come out and they say, per his request, Bobby Knight has been buried upside down, so all you critics can kiss his butt.
Yep. Yeah, I hope so. He gave us fits, for years, Eric.
Your
But
favorite Bobby Knight moment, what was it?
oh, it's got to be the chair.
Gotta be, right?
Got to be the chair.
Gotta be the
E-
chair.
Either that or the "Who's your daddy?" That's
Uh, he
he,
was. Can you imagine being in the
he was
media trying to
such
cover that man? You got to make sure every question you
yeah.
asked was legit good. He would tear. He would just rip you a new one if he didn't like your question. So, I enjoyed me some Bobby Knight over the years,
Yeah.
and yes, so to the LEO podcast and the other Indiana basketball podcast, and the Big Banter Network. Our condolences. I know that was your Woody Hayes, my friends. We understand that. We feel that.
Of course, we had to
So
send him to him.
we did. He is a Buckeye.
He's a Buckeye.
Actually,
Yeah.
from Wayne County, Ohio.
Yeah.
Um, Orville, Ohio is where he's
Yeah.
from.
Has
So
himself uh has himself a national title ring with the Buckeyes, I
he
believe.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a coach with the Hoosiers. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys, that's our show for this week. Again, please like, share, subscribe. We really do appreciate it. We'll be back Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern live. Chris and I will be here. We'll be joined by JR from the Big Ten Huddle. He's going to be in the third chair as we do a little 3-man weave. Sunday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern live right here on YouTube, Facebook. Make sure you join us. Don't miss it. Till next time, be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH. Sing Carmen High with all your heart. OH.
IO.
Go Bucks.